Hello and welcome to Hot, Not, and Bot. We'll be doing a full series recap of the Baltimore series after the game tomorrow or today, whenever you're watching it. This is a 10-minute show called Hot, Not, or Bot, and the timer starts now. We're going to open it up with Hot. Here's the Hot segment. You ready, Joes? You ready, Jake?
Yes.
Alex Verdugo has offered very little offensively, especially down the stretch. Tonight, we saw that Jason Dominguez's defensive abilities in left field are not MLB caliber, ? Is Oswaldo Cabrera the most well-rounded left field option on the team?
Can he hit lefties as well, or
his numbers lefty versus lefty this year are good?
Then possibly yes. I think the Yankees look at him as an infielder, though. I also think Jason Dominguez has more. It's more about familiarity. I think he needs to play more and get used to like his surroundings, kind of. But today he missed a fly ball that should have been caught. The
way they've handled Dominguez this year is so bizarre and
it's so weird
and wrong. Left field's not easy, especially at Yankee Stadium. They put a point to having a great left fielder defender for over a decade because it's a unique spot. And I think left field's tricky to play. I think it's harder than center field. So the fact that they didn't give Dominguez an opportunity earlier to learn that between where the walls are and how the ball comes off the bat and how balls react at different major league stadiums. And I kind of think the same with Oswaldo. I think you're setting up Oswaldo to fail at this point, that if you began to throw him in left field. So all around left fielder, day in, day out, it's Alex Verdugo.
But he's nothing offensively.
Right, but he could be something, and the other guys haven't shown enough to lose that they could lose you a game defensively.
I watched back Oswaldo in left field. He's pretty good.
He was playing, though. He played when he was regularly.
Playing. Yes. But Boone says he takes his reps. The Oswaldo situation is just bizarre to me. His numbers are so good. His last 110 plate appearances, he had a .316 batting average and a .376 on base percentage.
What's going on there, then?
What?
What do you think is going on there?
Well, we asked Boone, and he said he can't lose him as a backup first baseman. But
that to me is okay.
In September, he's got a .417 batting average and a .533. Granted, really small sample size, but you pull the sample size back to his last 224 plate appearances versus righty pitchers. It's a .261 batting average, .314 on base with a .374 slug, which is better than the other options we're talking about.
If he starts at left field, how do you lose him as a first baseman?
I don't know, gets hurt or something. That's what Boone said.
I mean, but he could get hurt doing anything. I don't know. I don't know if you want to play that game. I think the best thing is if he's the best option, then you go with it. But he's not even getting any reps right now, so I don't even think that that's even a valuable option. And they said they treat Dominguez so weird because they're so adamant about, if he's here, he's going to play. However, it feels like he plays kind of half the time. And you almost want them to treat him like how they treated Volpe, and they're not.
It's a perfect example of the Yankees put themselves in precarious positions by not trying to put themselves in precarious positions. Why hasn't Judge played more left field in his career? Because it was a thing.
Joey Gallo didn't want to play left field.
How come Cabrera didn't play more shortstop earlier this year? They have put themselves in these predicaments where they preach flexibility and versatility. Dude, Jazz Chisholm hasn't played an inning at second, and that's insane.
That's a little crazy, too.
Not that it matters, but that's insane.
Over the last 3 seasons, at any point, you could say, are these 9 guys on the field in the most optimized defensive positions? And the answer would 70% of the time be no. Judge should be in right, Dominguez in center, and Verdugo in left, and Soto should be DHing every time Stanton is not in the lineup. Every time.
But how many times have they done that this year?
0.
Zero.
It's crazy. All right, let's move on to not hot. They lost the first 2 games. Now they're up against some great starting pitching. They're going up against Corbin, Burns tomorrow, and we might do the show before the after the lineup gets put out. So I wanted to do this first so we can kind of play off of it. Corbin Burns is one of the biggest reverse split righties going. Since last season, he has a OPS of 552 versus against. Lefties have an OPS of 552 against him, which is the lowest in all of Major League Baseball. What would you guys do lineup-wise tomorrow in left field and elsewhere to try and get a win?
I mean, I would start off catcher. I'm okay going Trevino. I think Austin Wells needs a day off anyways. He's in a slump. So if you've got the toughest pitcher versus lefties and a lefty hitter in a slump, feels like the perfect rest opportunity for Wells. And then while we're at that, they're going to try to get Oswaldo at bats. You start Oswaldo at first base as like a thank you to Rizzo, just to force him in. And then it just becomes a Verdugo Dominguez question again, and I don't really know the answer.
So I agree with you. Sorry, Joes, you go.
I think Dominguez should play because how is he going to get better against righties if he doesn't see him? I mean, against how is he going to get? Even though it's a reverse split there, Verdugo hasn't done anything. If we're going to play the people that you talked about, and you're talking about Cabrera's going to start at first, I think I'd rather Jason Dominguez out there. I still need him to get as many reps as possible in the outfield. That still has to happen if he's going to play.
Well, how he played that ball in left field on top of the balls he played in Seattle, I'm pretty resigned that Jason Dominguez is going to be a bat off the bench. There's 4 games left, Joes. Practice time to get reps in to change comfortability is kind of out the window. And that was a fly ball. So if he's not playing center field, I think he's on the bench coming in to pinch hit or pinch run, and then Grisham comes in to play defense for him. I think you're going Verdugo, Dominguez off the bench, Grisham. So I think getting him reps is kind of sailed. I play Birdie tomorrow. Corbin Burns has also allowed the most steals out of any starting pitcher this year. And you get the birdie, righty birdie, give Jazz a break.
Okay, I like that.
Give Rizzo's numbers versus Burns are horrible, and Oswaldo's were good. So I think you might get a funky lineup tomorrow. I have it as Glaber, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Volpe, Cabrera, Birdie, Verdugo, Trevino.
Okay. I like that.
It's almost like what he did against Manoah a couple years ago.
That's not bad. Actually, I like that. I forgot about Birdie. I want to see some Birdie in there.
I was going to say, I don't think they'll do it. I do think they're going to play Verdugo tomorrow because I do think you need to win one more game, which is becoming more of a thing. With Garrett Cole on the mound, if there's a routine fly ball out there that gets dropped tomorrow with the Yankees losing momentum, you can't have that happen. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing would be if they do one of their sit Stanton days, but I'd really like to see Stanton against Burns.
I would really like that as well. Verdugo is 2 for 5 off of Burns. Oswaldo's also 2 for 5. Soto's 2 for 3. Rizzo's 0 for 11. So probably just get him off. Okay, last segment. We got a minute left. I changed up the bot. Okay, I used Perplexity instead of asking Perplexity AI for a good question about the Yankees. I said, what is a good question to ask Joe's McFly? And they wrote a ton of questions. Actually, they gave me like 7 options. And this is the question for Joe's. If you could predict one major change in baseball over the next 5 years, what would it be? You get 10 seconds.
That's a good question. One major change in baseball, I would probably predict the realignment.
Oh, that's a good prediction. That's a good answer, Joe's in 10 seconds time. Jake, I also said, what is a good question to ask Jake Storelli? This is what they spit out for you. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in producing content for platforms like Amazon and Yes Network? 5 seconds.
Not a ton of challenges.
All right. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to Hot, Not, and Bot. We'll be back tomorrow, and the full recap comes out tomorrow. Goodbye.